My sister made me wear her cheerleader uniform after losing the bet. Never again. I never thought a stupid bet would change the way I looked at myself. It was supposed to be harmless. Just trash talk. Just sibling rivalry. Just one dumb Saturday afternoon that should have ended with pizza and bragging rights. Instead, it ended with me standing in front of a full-length mirror, wearing my sister's cheerleader uniform, staring at someone I didn't recognize. And the worst part? A small terrifying part of me didn't hate what I saw. My name is Ethan Carter, 23 years old, mechanical engineering graduate. The serious one in the family. If you asked anyone who knew me, they'd say I was logical, grounded, practical. The type of guy who double-checks the locks before bed and reads instruction manuals for fun. And then there's my sister, Lily Carter, 20 years old, college sophomore, cheer captain, chaos in human form. Where I'm structured, she's spontaneous. Where I'm quiet, she's loud. Where I calculate risks, she jumps without looking. We've always competed over everything. Grades, video games, who mom likes more, who dad trusts with the car. But this bet, this one was different, because this one didn't just bruise my ego. It messed with my identity. It happened in our parents' living room. Mia was there too. Mia Thompson, my girlfriend of 2 years. If Lily is chaos, Mia is balance. She's calm, observant, smart in a way that makes you feel exposed if you lie. She knows when I'm nervous. She knows when I'm hiding something. And lately, she's been looking at me like she knows there's something I haven't said. Not a huge secret. Not something dramatic. Just something. The bet started during a college football game. Lily's team was competing the next week in regionals, and she wouldn't stop talking about how cheerleaders work harder than any athlete. I laughed. I shouldn't have. You shake pom-poms, I said. Relax. The room went silent. Mia raised an eyebrow. Lily slowly turned toward me with a smile that meant danger. Oh really, she said sweetly. You think it's easy? I know it's easy. Big mistake. She stood up, crossed her arms, and tilted her head. Fine. Next Saturday, you learn our halftime routine. Full choreography. If you can do it without messing up. I'll publicly admit engineering is harder than cheer. And if I win? She asked. I smirked. You won't. Oh, I will. She walked toward her bedroom. And that's when I should have walked away. Instead, I followed. Lily returned holding something over her shoulder. Red, white, gold trim. Her cheerleader uniform. The official one. Pleated skirt. Fitted top. The one she wore under stadium lights. If you lose, she said calmly, you wear this. Full uniform. Hair, makeup, everything. And you perform the routine. On video. Mia choked on her drink. I laughed so hard I almost fell off the couch. You're insane. Scared. That word hit something in me. Because I wasn't scared. Right? It's just clothes. Fabric. Stitches. Nothing more. Fine, I said. Deal. We shook on it. Mia looked at me like she wanted to stop me. But she didn't. That night I couldn't sleep. Not because I was worried about losing. Because I knew I wouldn't. But because when Lily had tossed the uniform onto the couch, my eyes lingered on it for half a second too long. I don't know why. Maybe curiosity. Maybe humiliation. Maybe something else I didn't want to name. I've never considered myself a crossdresser. I'm not secretly sneaking into closets. I'm not living a double life. But I've always been aware. Aware of textures. Aware of how different fabrics feel. Aware of how different presentations change the way people see you. Engineering teaches you structure. But identity, that's something else entirely. And sometimes, I wonder if I've built mine too rigidly. Saturday came fast. Too fast. Lily didn't hold back. She made me rehearse. Spin. Kick. Jump. Smile. I was terrible. Balance off. Timing wrong. Arms stiff. She laughed. Mia recorded for evidence. And somewhere between the fifth failed jump and Lily's dramatic eye roll, I realized something horrifying. I might actually lose. The final run-through was brutal. Music blasted. I slipped. I missed the turn. I forgot the ending pose. Silence. Lily grinned. Looks like someone's wearing a skirt. Mia didn't laugh. She just watched me, carefully, like she was studying my reaction. And that's when the reality hit me. This wasn't just a joke anymore. This wasn't just sibling humiliation. In a few hours, I would be standing in my sister's bedroom, wearing her uniform, letting her do my makeup, letting her transform me, and Mia would see everything, not just the outside, but whatever surfaced inside me when it happened. I told myself it didn't matter. It was a dare, punishment, a joke, but deep down, there was a tiny flicker of anticipation I didn't understand, and that scared me more than losing ever could. That evening, Lily knocked on my door. Time to pay up. She held the uniform in her hands, pressed, ready. Behind her, Mia stood quietly in the hallway, watching, waiting. I swallowed, and for the first time in my life, I wasn't afraid of looking ridiculous. I was afraid of what I might feel when I didn't. When you're ready, tell me. Lily didn't give me time to overthink it. She grabbed my wrist and pulled me down the hallway toward her room like I was about to face execution. Mia followed behind us, silent, observing. That somehow made it worse. Lily's bedroom felt different that night. Normally it was chaotic. Clothes on the chair, makeup scattered across her desk, textbooks half open. But tonight, everything was arranged, neatly, intentionally. The cheer uniform hung from the closet door. Her vanity lights were on. A curling iron warmed on the desk. Makeup brushes laid out in a perfect line. It didn't look like a joke anymore. It looked like preparation. For me. And suddenly my heartbeat was too loud. Shirt off, Lily said casually. Excuse me. You lost. Don't get shy now. Mia stepped closer to the doorway but didn't come fully inside. She crossed her arms, watching me, not laughing, not teasing, just watching. I hesitated, not because I was embarrassed, but because once I started, there was no backing out. This wasn't just fabric. This was crossing a line I had never stepped near before. Still, I pulled my shirt over my head, then my jeans. Standing there in just boxers felt strangely more vulnerable than what was coming next. Lily didn't mock me. She simply picked up the cheer top. Arms up. The fabric brushed against my chest. Soft, cool at first, then warm as it settled against my skin. It was tighter than I expected. Structured. The elastic hugged my torso, compressing in a way that made me hyper-aware of my breathing. I looked down. The red and white pattern curved across my chest. It didn't look like a costume. It looked real. Because it was. Skirt, Lily said. I stepped into it. The pleated fabric slid up my legs. Light. Airy. Completely different from the weight of jeans. When she zipped it up, the waistband snapped snug against my hips. And that's when I felt it. The shift. My legs suddenly felt exposed. Longer. The air against my thighs made every movement noticeable. I swallowed. Why did that feel so intense? I risked a glance at Mia. She hadn't moved. Her eyes weren't amused. They weren't judgmental either. They were searching. Like she was trying to see past the uniform. Past the joke. Past me. Turn around, Lily said, spinning me toward her full-length mirror. I resisted for half a second. Then I looked. And my brain struggled to process what it was seeing. It was still me. Broad shoulders. Familiar face. But the colors. The shape. The silhouette. The skirt flared slightly when I shifted my weight. The fitted top changed my posture without me realizing it. My stance softened. Not intentionally. Just happened. A strange heat crept up my neck. Not humiliation. Something more complicated. Wow, Lily whispered. You clean up better than I thought. Shut up, I muttered. But my voice sounded different in that room. Smaller. Sit. I obeyed. And that scared me more than anything. Lily stepped between my knees with a makeup brush. This part's non-negotiable. Foundation first. Cool sponge dabbing across my skin. Blending. Erasing small imperfections I didn't even know I had. Then concealer. Contour. Each touch deliberate. Careful. Intimate in a way I hadn't prepared for. My eyes flicked to Mia again. She had stepped inside now. Leaning lightly against the wall. Still silent. Still watching. Why are you so quiet? I asked her. She tilted her head. I'm just seeing how you feel. That answer hit deeper than I expected. How did I feel? Embarrassed? Yes. Exposed? Definitely. But beneath that, curiosity. And an undeniable, uncomfortable thrill. Lily brushed blush across my cheeks. Then mascara. Don't blink. Too late. She laughed. You're worse than freshmen. Because I'm not supposed to be doing this, I snapped. Then why aren't you fighting it? The room went quiet. I didn't have an answer. Because the truth was, I wasn't fighting. Not really. Lily held up a long blonde wig. My stomach dropped. This is excessive. No, she said calmly. This is commitment. She positioned it over my head. Adjusted. Brushed the strands down over my shoulders. The weight changed everything. Hair grazing my neck. Tickling my collarbone. When I looked in the mirror again, I froze. The transformation wasn't funny anymore. It wasn't just Ethan in a skirt. It was something else. Someone else. The makeup softened my jaw. The hair framed my face. The uniform completed the illusion. And for one terrifying second, I didn't see a joke. I saw potential. Mia stepped closer. Right behind me now. Close enough that I could feel her warmth. She met my eyes in the mirror. You look, she started. I braced myself. Beautiful. The word landed like a shockwave. My heart slammed against my ribs. Beautiful? That wasn't teasing. That wasn't sarcasm. That was sincere. And that sincerity made my knees weak. What does it mean if I don't hate this? What does it mean if part of me likes the way the skirt moves when I shift? If I like the way my reflection looks softer? If hearing beautiful doesn't make me angry? Am I just caught up in the moment? Or is this something I've buried for years? The logical engineer in me screamed, this is temporary. This is a joke. This is humiliation. But the quieter voice whispered, why does it feel right? Oh, we're not done, Lily said. She slid a pair of white cheer shoes toward me. Not heels, but slim, lightweight, feminine. I slipped them on. They were snug. My posture shifted again. Back straighter. Steps smaller. More deliberate. I stood. The skirt swayed slightly. And the room fell silent. Even Lily stopped joking. Because now it looked convincing. Too convincing. Suddenly my phone buzzed. All three of us jumped. Mia grabbed it from the desk. Her eyes widened slightly. It's Tyler. My best friend. He was supposed to come over later to watch a game replay. I had completely forgotten. What time is it? I whispered. 30 minutes. My stomach dropped. There was no way I could change fast enough if he showed up early. No way to explain this if he walked in. Lily looked between us slowly. Then smiled. Oh, this just got interesting. My pulse pounded in my ears. The uniform suddenly felt tighter. The makeup heavier. The wig hotter against my scalp. This wasn't just about Mia anymore. This wasn't just about a bet. Now, this was about exposure, reputation, identity. If Tyler saw me like this, would he laugh? Would he leave? Would he look at me differently forever? And why? Why did part of me feel a dangerous thrill at the idea of almost getting caught? Mia stepped closer again, lowered her voice. You should change. Simple. Logical. Safe. But I didn't move. Because for the first time, standing there in my sister's uniform, I didn't want to take it off. And that realization scared me more than Tyler knocking on the door ever could. I should have changed. Mia was right. It would have taken 3 minutes. Wipe off the makeup. Pull off the wig. Step out of the skirt. Return to normal. Safe. Predictable. Ethan. But I didn't move. Instead, I stared at my reflection one more time. The girl in the mirror didn't look terrified. She looked alive. And that terrified me. Earth to genius, Lily said. Tyler's coming. My phone buzzed again. Tyler, bro, I'm 5 minutes away. 5 minutes. My heart dropped into my stomach. That's impossible, I muttered. He left early, Mia said quietly. Of course he did. Of course the one day I look like this my best friend decides to be punctual. Bathroom, I said suddenly. I'll change in the bathroom. But Lily grabbed my wrist again. No. What do you mean no? She smiled slowly. You said you weren't scared. This isn't about fear. Then prove it. The air shifted. This wasn't sibling teasing anymore. This was a challenge to my pride, to my ego, to whatever part of me refused to back down. You want me to answer the door like this? I asked. Her eyes glittered. I dare you. Mia stepped forward. Lily, that's too much. But she didn't sound completely sure. She sounded curious. And that look in her eyes, not judgment, not rejection, but fascination, did something reckless inside me. Why did I care more about what Mia thought than Tyler? Why did I want her to see me like this? Why did I want her to react? The doorbell rang. All three of us froze. It felt louder than it should have. Echoing. Demanding. Ethan. Tyler's voice called from outside. You alive? My chest tightened. I could hear his footsteps shifting on the porch. He always tried the handle after knocking. Always. And we never locked the front door during the day. Lily's smile vanished. Wait. The handle turned. Locked. Thank God. Why is it locked? Tyler called. Coming. Mia shouted. She turned to me quickly. Decide. Now. Every second felt stretched thin. Could run. Hide in the bathroom. Let Mia stall him. Change fast. Pretend none of this happened. Or, I could stay. Stand there. And face whatever happened. My entire life I've chosen safety. Calculated risks. Controlled outcomes. But something about that mirror version of me. She didn't look like someone who hid. And for the first time in my life, I didn't want to be the safe one. Open it, I said quietly. Mia's eyes widened. Ethan. Open the door. My voice shook, but I didn't step back. Mia walked to the front door. My heart pounded so hard I could hear it in my ears. Lily whispered, This is insane. Tyler stepped inside mid-sentence. Bro, you won't believe what happened. He stopped. Silence. His eyes moved from Lily to Mia, and then to me. The room froze. I forced myself not to move, not to cover my legs, not to rip the wig off, not to explain. Tyler blinked once, then twice. What? He said slowly. Am I looking at? No laughter. No immediate jokes. Just confusion, which somehow felt worse. It's a bet, Lily said quickly. He lost. Tyler looked at me again. Longer this time. Studying. Assessing. You lost. I nodded. Damn. Still no laughter. Just a strange, unreadable expression. You actually look. He hesitated. My throat tightened. Convincing. That word hit differently than beautiful. Convincing. Like I wasn't just a guy in a costume. Like I could pass. And for some reason that made heat rush through me. Tyler scratched the back of his neck. So, you gonna perform too? Lily perked up immediately. Yes. No, I muttered. But she had already grabbed her phone. Music blasted through the speakers. The halftime routine. The same one that destroyed me earlier. Do it, Lily grinned. I should have refused. Should have ended it. But Tyler was watching now. Mia was watching. And something inside me wanted to prove. What? That I wasn't embarrassed? That I owned it? The music started. My body moved almost automatically. Step. Turn. Arm up. Kick. The skirt flared with each spin. The wig swayed over my shoulders. My heart pounded in rhythm with the beat. Halfway through, I stopped thinking. Stopped calculating. Stopped fearing. I just moved. And the scariest part? Felt good. Not humiliating. Not degrading. Good. Free. Like I wasn't carrying expectations for once. When the music ended, the room was silent again. But this time, it felt different. Tyler exhaled slowly. Okay. That's it. Lily said. That's it. He looked at me again. Not mocking. Not disgusted. Just thoughtful. You into this? The question sliced straight through me. Not was it funny. Not are you insane. But, are you into this? My mouth opened. Closed. Because I didn't know the answer. And that uncertainty was louder than any laugh could have been. Mia stepped closer. Her hand brushed lightly against my bare arm. You don't have to answer that, she said softly. But Tyler didn't look away. He wasn't smiling. He wasn't judging. He was waiting. Because real friends don't laugh first. They look for truth. And suddenly this wasn't about a bed anymore. This wasn't about pride. This was about identity. And whether I was brave enough to admit I didn't fully understand mine. I started. And then, a knock at the door. Not Tyler this time. A sharp, firm knock. All four of us turned. Lily's face drained of color. That's Mom. Silence crashed into the room. Mom wasn't supposed to be home until tomorrow. No one moved. Because this wasn't a best friend seeing me. This was family, expectation, judgment, history. And I was standing in the middle of the living room, in my sister's cheerleader uniform. The doorknob started to turn. Unlocked. The doorknob turned. And I stopped breathing. Mom stepped inside mid-sentence. I forgot my charger and your father said. She froze. Her eyes moved slowly across the room. Tyler. Mia. Lily. And then, me. Standing in the center of the living room. In a pleated red skirt. Fitted cheer top. Full makeup. Blonde hair falling over my shoulders. Time didn't just slow. It shattered. No one spoke. I felt every inch of exposed skin. The air against my legs. The wig itching slightly at my scalp. The tightness of the uniform around my chest. For the first time since this started, shame surged up violently. This wasn't a joke anymore. This wasn't Piers. This was the woman who raised me. The woman who told me to be strong. To act like a man. To set an example. Her eyes locked on mine. Searching. Trying to understand what she was seeing. What, she said carefully, is going on? Lily opened her mouth. I beat her to it. It was a bet. My voice cracked. I cleared my throat. It was just a bet. Mom looked at Lily. Then at Tyler. Then at Mia. Is that true? Yes, Mia said softly. But she didn't look convinced anymore. She looked protective. Of me. And that somehow made my throat tighten more. Mom stepped fully inside. Closed the door behind her. The sound echoed too loud. Ethan, she said slowly. Yes. Come here. My stomach dropped. Every instinct screamed to run to the bathroom. Rip the wig off. Change. Fix it. But my legs moved forward instead. Each step deliberate. The skirt swayed. And I hated how aware I was of that movement now. I stopped in front of her. Close enough to see the faint crease between her brows. Close enough to see confusion, not anger. And that threw me off balance. She reached out. Not to slap. Not to yank the wig. She touched the fabric of the uniform lightly between her fingers. It fits, she murmured. The comment stunned everyone. Lily blinked. Tyler shifted awkwardly. I felt heat rise to my face. It's Lily's, I muttered. I can see that. Her eyes met mine again. Do you want to tell me something? There it was. The question beneath the surface. Not, why are you dressed like that? But is this more than a joke? My pulse thundered. 'Cause I didn't know. And I didn't want to lie. But I wasn't ready to confess something I hadn't fully understood myself. It was just a bet, I repeated. But the words sounded thinner this time. Mom studied me for a long moment. Then, she sighed. Not angrily. Not disappointed. Just deeply. You know, she said quietly. When I was in college, your uncle dared your father to wear my old prom dress. The room went completely silent. What? Lily whispered. Mom gave a small smile. He looked ridiculous. Tyler blinked. You're joking. I'm not. She crossed her arms gently. And he laughed. We all laughed. And that was that. My brain struggled to process what I was hearing. Dad? In a dress? There was no way. He wasn't any less of a man because of fabric, Mom continued calmly. And neither are you. The tension shifted. Not gone, but transformed. This wasn't the explosion I expected. This wasn't rejection. It was something more complex. Acceptance. With questions attached. But just as relief started creeping in, she looked directly into my eyes. And if it's not just a bet, I would rather know. There it was again. That opening. That terrifying space where I could either step forward or retreat forever. My mind spiraled. What if I say yes? What if I say I don't know? What if this isn't temporary? What if Mia leaves? What if Tyler sees me differently? I looked at Mia. She didn't look disgusted. She didn't look amused. She looked emotional, like she was waiting for me to be honest. With her. With myself. And then it happened. The wig shifted. Just slightly. But enough. One side loosened and slipped off my shoulder, revealing the short dark hair underneath. Half illusion. Half reality. Two versions of me in one reflection, caught in the hallway mirror. Everyone saw it. The duality. The split. The costume and the core. And for the first time, I realized the uniform wasn't the real exposure. This was standing there, between identities, unsure which one felt more authentic. I don't know, I said finally. The words came out shaky, but honest. I don't know what this means. Silence. But not hostile silence. Listening silence. I don't know if I liked it because it was a dare, or because I swallowed. Because part of me wanted to know what it felt like. There. It was out. Not a confession of identity. Not a declaration. Just truth. And somehow that felt braver than pretending it was all a joke. Tyler exhaled slowly. Dude, he said quietly. You're still you. Simple. Uncomplicated. Mia stepped closer and took my hand. Her fingers wrapped around mine without hesitation. I care about who you are, she said softly. Not what you're wearing. My chest tightened. Relief. Fear. Overwhelm. All at once. Mom nodded slowly. Then maybe the question isn't whether you wore it, she said gently. Maybe the question is why it scares you. That sentence hit harder than anything else tonight. Because she was right. The uniform didn't scare me. The reflection didn't scare me. What scared me was liking it. But before I could respond, my phone buzzed again. Lily glanced at the screen. Her eyes widened. You've got to be kidding me. What? I asked. She turned the phone around. It was a notification from social media. Tyler's livestream app. Accidentally activated. And still running. The entire routine. The entire reveal. Broadcast. Public. The viewer count climbing. The room went ice cold. This wasn't just family anymore. This wasn't just friends. This was exposure to everyone. Classmates. Colleagues. Future employers. Strangers. My stomach dropped. This was the real point of no return. Now the stakes are irreversible. Reputation. Identity. Public reaction. When you're ready, say. The viewer count was climbing. My stomach dropped lower with every refresh. Tyler grabbed his phone so fast he nearly dropped it. I swear I didn't mean to. I was recording earlier and I must have. It's public. Lily whispered. Yeah. My ears started ringing. Public. That word felt heavier than anything tonight. This wasn't a private identity crisis anymore. This wasn't contained inside four walls. This was out there. Floating in timelines. Screen recorded. Saved. Shared. My mind raced through worst-case scenarios. Engineering classmates finding it. Group chats exploding. Screenshots edited. Memes. I imagine walking into campus Monday. Whispers. Stares. Smirks. Or worse, pity. And yet, underneath the panic, there was something else. A strange, defiant voice asking, why does this scare you so much? Because it's embarrassing? Or because you're afraid people might see something real? End it, Mom said firmly. Tyler slammed the screen and ended the stream. But it was too late. The damage was done. Delete it, Lily snapped. I am. He was shaking now. Not laughing. Not amused. Shaking. Because this wasn't funny anymore. This could change things. For me. For all of us. Mia stepped directly in front of me, blocking my view of everyone else. Look at me, she said. I did. Her hands moved to my waist, gently but firmly. You need to breathe. I hadn't realized I wasn't. Air rushed back into my lungs unevenly. This doesn't define you, she said softly. But it will follow me, I whispered. Her eyes searched mine. Only if you let shame carry it. That sentence hit deeper than anything else tonight. Because she wasn't telling me it didn't matter. She was telling me I had a choice in how it mattered. Behind her, Lily paced. Oh my God. Dad's gonna see it. Mom turned sharply. Your father will not hear about this from the internet. That tone. Final. controlled, protective. For the first time tonight, I realized something. Mom wasn't embarrassed. She was worried about how I'd handle this, not about how it made her look. That realization cracked something open inside me. Tyler looked up from his phone. It already has comments. No one wanted to ask, but I did. What are they saying? He hesitated. Some are laughing. Expected. Some are confused. Fair. And some are saying you look good. The room went still. Heat rushed to my face again. Good. Not ridiculous. Not gross. Good. And that word, coming from strangers, shouldn't have mattered. But it did. More than I wanted to admit. I didn't plan this, I said suddenly. My voice sounded distant. I didn't wake up wanting to be this. No one interrupted. I lost a stupid bet. I put on a stupid uniform. And now half the internet thinks I'm. What? Mia asked gently. I faltered, because I didn't know how to finish that sentence. Thinks I'm gay? Thinks I'm confused? Thinks I'm secretly someone else? Or worse, thinks I'm honest. I don't even know what I am, I admitted quietly. The words felt raw, unfiltered, and terrifying. Lily stopped pacing. Her voice lost all teasing edge. I didn't mean to push you into something real. I looked at her. For the first time tonight, she didn't look like the confident cheer captain. She looked like my little sister. Worried she'd hurt me. You didn't, I said softly. Because the truth was, this wasn't created tonight. Tonight just exposed it. I turned slowly toward the hallway mirror again. Half of the wig still slipped off one shoulder. Makeup slightly smudged from sweat and panic. Uniform perfectly fitted. Not ridiculous. Not exaggerated. Just me. But different. Split. I stepped closer. Everyone watching. Waiting. My fingers moved to the wig. And paused. If I ripped it off now, I could signal that it was all a joke. An accident. A mistake. I could reclaim control. Return to safe Ethan. Or, I could adjust it. Fix it. Own it. The scariest part? I didn't know which version was more honest. Ethan, Mom said gently. Whatever you choose right now, choose it for yourself. Not for Mia. Not for Tyler. Not for Lily. Not for the internet. For yourself. The room felt heavy with expectation. Mia's hand brushed against mine. Warm. Steady. I'm not going anywhere, she whispered. That promise hit harder than the viral video, because it removed my excuse. If she stayed, then what was I really afraid of? My fingers tightened in the wig. And slowly, instead of pulling it off, I adjusted it, centered it, smoothed it down. The room went completely silent. I met my reflection's eyes. And for the first time tonight, I didn't look away. I don't know what this means, I said quietly. But I'm done pretending I didn't feel something. There it was. Not a label. Not a declaration. Just honesty. And that honesty felt heavier than exposure ever could. Tyler exhaled slowly. Well, he said. Guess Monday's gonna be interesting. A weak laugh escaped Lily. Mom shook her head slightly. But she was smiling. Not because this was funny, but because I wasn't hiding anymore. And then, my phone buzzed again. A message preview flashed across the screen. Unknown number. We need to talk. Dad. The air vanished from the room. Because if Mom was calm, Dad was not. And he definitely would not see this as harmless. The front door was still closed. But suddenly it felt like something much larger was about to walk through it. Uncertainty and call to action. I stood there. In a cheerleader uniform. Half viral. Half understood. Completely exposed. And staring at a message that could change everything. Would Dad be angry? Disappointed? Silent? Would he see weakness? Or courage? Would he tell me to take it off? Or ask me why I didn't sooner? I didn't know. And that uncertainty felt bigger than the internet. Bigger than the bet. Bigger than the uniform. Because this wasn't about fabric anymore. It was about identity. And whether I was brave enough to keep exploring it. The screen lit up again. Another message from Dad. I'm on my way home. 30 minutes. The same amount of time Tyler had earlier. Only this time, there was no going back. No hiding. No pretending. The mirror still reflected both versions of me, and I didn't know which one would be standing there when the door opened next. What would you have done? Would you rip the wig off before he walked in? Would you stand your ground? Would you lie? Or finally tell the truth? Because next time that door opens, there won't be another rehearsal. My phone stayed in my hand. Dad's message glowed on the screen. I'm on my way home. 30 minutes. The same 30 minutes that had changed everything earlier. Only this time there was no panic in my chest. Just clarity. I looked around the room. Lily, anxious but supportive. Tyler, awkward but loyal. Mom, calm, steady. Mia, still holding my hand. Not one of them had walked away. Not one. And suddenly the uniform didn't feel like humiliation. It felt like a question I finally stopped avoiding. I walked back to the mirror one last time. The wig was slightly crooked again. Mascara faintly smudged. Cheeks flushed. But the person staring back at me didn't look confused anymore. Just honest. I reached up, slowly removed the wig, set it down on the console. The short dark hair underneath reappeared. Then I looked at the uniform, at the skirt, at the fitted top, and instead of ripping them off in panic, I simply exhaled. This wasn't just about a bet, I said quietly. No one interrupted. It started that way, but somewhere in the middle, I stopped doing it for the dare. Mia squeezed my hand slightly. I know. I gave her a small smile. Not embarrassed. Not defensive. Just real. I don't know exactly what this means, I continued. I don't know if it's curiosity, expression, confidence, or just a side of me I never explored. I looked at Lily. You didn't force this out of me. She looked relieved. I looked at Tyler. You didn't ruin my life. He laughed nervously. And then I looked at Mom. I'm not broken. She stepped forward and kissed my forehead gently. No, she said. You're growing. The front door handle turned. Dad walked in. He saw the uniform immediately. His expression hardened for a split second. Then he saw everyone else's faces. Calm. Supportive. Steady. His eyes finally landed on me. And instead of anger, he just sighed. Did I miss the performance? The room went silent. Then Lily burst out laughing. Tyler followed. Mom shook her head. And after a long second, I laughed too. The tension dissolved. Not completely. Not permanently. But enough. Later that night, after everyone left and the house was quiet, I stood alone in my room. The uniform folded neatly on my bed. I ran my fingers across the fabric again. It didn't feel forbidden anymore. It didn't feel shameful. It just felt like cloth. And whatever power it held earlier, that came from me. Not the skirt. Not the makeup. Not the internet. Me. I didn't know if I'd ever wear it again. Maybe I would. Maybe I wouldn't. But if I did, it wouldn't be because I lost a bet. And it wouldn't be because I was afraid of what it meant. It would be because I chose to understand myself a little better. I lost a stupid challenge. I wore a cheerleader uniform. Half the internet saw it. My family walked in. My identity cracked open in front of everyone. And somehow, I didn't fall apart. Never again would I say. It was just a joke. Because sometimes a joke reveals more truth than a confession ever could. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't running from that truth.